Those on the streets made no effort to hide their emotions. Everywhere a sense of loss and of a country in extraordinary political turmoil. The crowd then marched through the center of Moscow up towards the Russian parliament, where resistance to the coup had been focused. The victims of this coup are being honored as revolutionary martyrs, for the people on the streets are seeing the events of the last week as nothing short of a revolution.
They shed their blood defending democracy, and this is a funeral for the whole communism system all over the world.
The images today were of old Russia, pre-revolutionary, a country throwing itself back 75 years. The patriarch of all Russia presided at the funerals, the atheism of the Soviet state utterly rejected. The changes here are not just political. People are talking of the re-emergence of a Russian tradition. Robert Moore, ITN, Moscow.
The failed coup attempt by Soviet hardliners apparently has prompted the Soviet Ukraine to pull further away from Moscow. The Republic's parliament has voted overwhelmingly to declare independence, the seventh state to do so. The resolution reportedly will be put to the test December 1st in a referendum, which would coincide with presidential elections. The move's a blow to efforts to keep the USSR loosely united under the proposed Union Treaty. The independence call goes beyond the Ukraine's earlier declaration of sovereignty. The Ukraine is the Soviet Union's second largest republic and is considered a major agricultural and industrial power. The Communist Party also is taking a beating in the Soviet republics of Moldavia and Tajikistan. The republic's presidents have banned activities by political parties. Moldavians are getting a head start on efforts to disband the Communist Party. Since the hardline coup failed, they have defaced a giant statue of Lenin in Kishinev, and the republic's government has begun closing down party facilities. Some of the last bastions of Soviet power are on their way out of the Republic of Lithuania. Lithuanians shouted "killers" as 2 busloads of KGB secret police left their headquarters in Vilnius Saturday. The KGB agreed to curtail its activities in the rest of Republic. Meanwhile, the Soviet Baltic republics apparently are getting closer to achieving total independence. Russian President Boris Yeltsin formally recognized Latvia's and Estonia's independence Saturday. It's already recognized Lithuania's sovereignty. And Denmark is the first nation to fully recognize the breakaway Baltics. The Bush administration says television news coverage played a key role during the failed Soviet coup. Mary Tillotson looks at the power of the picture.
In the early hours of the coup, with Mikhail Gorbachev incommunicado and Moscow in chaos, U.S. officials say they were not even sure who was alive or dead, who was left in the Soviet Union for the U.S. to back.
And it still is unfolding. All is not clear.
A television image transmitted halfway around the world helped clarify the position President Bush would take.
Even though we were getting messages that the resistance was forming and that President Yeltsin was still in the Parliament building and was maintaining his government, there was nothing like the television pictures of him on that tank to really solidify in everyone's mind that here is an active opposition that needs to be supported in every way we could.
I have this morning spoken with Boris Yeltsin, the freely elected leader of the Russian Republic. And I assured Mr. Yeltsin of continued U.S. support.
And so began an unprecedented two-way transatlantic conversation between Presidents Bush and Yeltsin, conducted by telephone and television with the world listening in.
Coups can fail.
The aim, to stiffen the resolve of Russian reformers facing downed tanks and to persuade plotters of the coup that they were isolated.
They underestimated the power of the people They underestimated what a taste of democracy and freedom brings.
The telephone calls between the President Bush and President Yeltsin, and then the ability to instantly respond to those through the mass media is an incredible around-the-world kind of communication that I don't think has ever existed before at any kind of international incident.
Knowing President Bush and most of the world were on the sidelines cheering could only have encouraged the people of the Soviet Union. But it was they who stopped the tanks. They who clung to their fragile elected government. What they're celebrating in Moscow is not the undeniable revolution in communications technology, but the old-fashioned kind of revolution. The kind dependent on human bravery. Mary Tillotson, CNN, Kennebunkport, Maine.
The military chief of Yugoslavia's breakaway Republic of Croatia is threatening to order all Croats to take up arms. He's demanding a ceasefire be restored. Ethnic fighting flared again Saturday in the secessionist republic. Members of the Serbian militia attacked Croatian police in Tanja. 10 people are said to have died in the violence.
A resurrected Soviet president may have dealt his party a death blow. And racial and religious tensions in a Brooklyn, New York neighborhood show no signs of easing. CNN Headline News, I'm Brian Nelson. The political drama in the Soviet Union remains intense as stunning changes continue to unfold in quick succession. In Moscow, an architectural icon is the target of widespread anti-communist sentiment. Many Muscovites are calling for a giant statue of Communist Party founder Vladimir Lenin to be removed from October Square. And yesterday, the once revered structure was defaced by graffiti. There is speculation that cranes will be deployed to remove it today. In the meantime, Mikhail Gorbachev has taken a step that many Soviets felt was long overdue. Yesterday, the Soviet president resigned as the Communist Party leader after lashing out at party members for supporting last week's aborted coup. But Gorbachev will remain Soviet president. He also damaged financially the Communist Party by ordering its holdings turned over to the Soviet parliament. And Gorbachev pressed the Communist Party's Central Committee to disband, calling that a difficult but honest decision. Gorbachev's decisions are drawing praise from the anti-communist lobby, but some are warning against overkill.
I don't think that the Communist Party as such should be forbidden. We still have enough people in our country and in our society who have communist views. Let them have their own structure and let them have their own legitimate channel to express their views. It is much better than any underground activity which is natural to Bolshevik consciousness. It's obvious that Communist Party will be removed to periphery of our political life.
Russian Republic President Boris Yeltsin is flexing his new political muscle. Yesterday, he ordered Communist Party headquarters and the KGB archives to be seized. That move may lead to investigations of crimes committed by the secret police. And Yeltsin also claimed control of all government communications traditionally operated by the Kremlin. Muscovites try to sweep away a symbol of the Soviet state on a day of historic changes. And in a racially tense New York neighborhood, black residents take their demands to the streets. CNN Headline News, I'm Brian Nelson. It's a move many believe should have come months, even years ago. And now Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev has stepped down as Communist Party chief. And that set a series of sweeping changes in motion yesterday, suddenly shifting the party from a place of absolute power to a voice in the background. Steve Hurst has more.
Mikhail Gorbachev began his day speaking to demonstrators assembled for the funeral of 3 young men killed in this week's aborted coup. The masses were listening to the General Secretary of the Communist Party. By day's end, Gorbachev had cut the head off the party, resigning as its leader and dissolving the policy-setting Central Committee. The Kremlin boss had just conducted the final meeting of the Soviet Communist Party, and as he roared into the moonlit Moscow night, he was a much diminished president of a country coming apart at the seams. The former foreign minister said Gorbachev should have jumped the party ship long ago.
I have been saying for a long time that he should take this step. I'm convinced that he would have gained a lot if he had taken this decision a year ago, 1.5 years ago, or 2 years ago.
At the party Central Committee building, a crowd had begun to gather.
Но при всем при том, я не считаю,
I do not think that it is necessary to